In Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino employs the Socratic method, a key philosophical tool from Plato's Republic. In the famous dialogue between Jules and Vincent about the morality of a foot massage, Vincent challenges Jules' initial assertion that Marcellus Wallace overreacted by killing a man for giving his wife a foot massage. By questioning and pointing out contradictions in Jules' argument, Vincent guides the conversation in a way that mirrors Socratic questioning. This conversation reflects the essence of a Socratic dialogue found, for example, in the Republic, where Socrates interrogates definitions of justice, ultimately leading either to a deeper understanding or the acknowledgement of ignorance. Now, Plato's Republic includes the myth of the ring of Gyges, which grants its wearer the power of invisibility, raising questions about morality and justice when one is free from accountability. This concept is mirrored in Death Note, the anime, or better still, in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, where the One Ring grants invisibility and immense power, tempting characters to moral corruption. Just as Gyges uses his ring to commit unjust acts without consequence, so too the ring in Tolkien's world corrupts its bearers, illustrating Plato's idea that power can easily lead to moral degradation. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games, and Netflix's Squid Game all explore dystopian societies that reflect, in one way or another, Plato's warnings about the misuse of power and the construction of society in the Republic. Each narrative examines social engineering, class disparity, and the illusion of happiness, core issues in Plato's dialogues. Each story echoes Plato's critique of unjust societies that manipulate and control individuals for the benefit of a ruling elite, as illustrated in his vision of the philosopher king and the dangers of a society not governed by true justice. In The Truman Show, a great film, the protagonist, Truman Burbank, lives in a fabricated reality, much like the prisoners in Plato's allegory of the cave who perceive shadows on a wall of reality. Truman's eventual escape from his artificial world parallels the journey of the freed prisoner who discovers the true world outside the cave. This narrative underscores Plato's themes of enlightenment, the pursuit of truth, and the contrast between appearance and reality. And The Matrix, another one, is perhaps the ace in the pack, directly paralleling Plato's allegory of the cave, where Neo's awakening from the simulated reality to the real world, together with his choice of Andrew Tate's blue and red pill, mirrors the prisoner's ascent from the cave into the sunlight of the real world. The film explores perception, reality, enlightenment, all central to the Republic. And Morpheus's red pill, which he offers to Neo, is the choice of seeking truth over comfort. It's the moment a teacher drags out the student to the pursuit of genuine knowledge, but none of this is quite what it seems. Firstly, the allegory of the cave is just one of 4 images in the Republic, and it needs to be read in the context of the sun, the divided line, and the navigator, and I'll come to all that in the next video, so please keep in touch. Keep following the channel. There will be more. But more than that, the second point is that this is Hollywood, and this is cod philosophy. There's a deeper use of the themes of Plato in Hollywood that becomes evident when you start looking at the way that movies are made, the special effects, the construction of reality, and the dependence on belief. Because the movie is a world of fiction, and the titillation is the dangling fish of duplicity, the cod philosophy. This teasing flattery, oh, look, I'm accessing great philosophy. This little truth is the great lie that Plato urges the philosopher king to tell the ordinary citizens and slaves of Athens or of Syracuse to keep them in order. The tools of the trade are the key to this, rather than the message that they engineer. And the greatest tool is green screen, or the travelling mat, perfected initially in colour with the sodium screen of Disney, that was best showcased in Mary Poppins in 1964, the only film to be nominated for Best Picture in Disney's lifetime, his crowning achievement, probably one of the greatest films ever made. So much so that more serious directors like Hitchcock were panting at the door for access. This is the world that can be fully invented. This is the world that yields in the end to the Star Wars universe and Jurassic Park, where reality and fantasy are completely interchangeable. But it is Mary Poppins that first showcased the reality that people like Georges Méliès and Willis O'Brien, the inventor of King Kong, were trying to engineer, layering one image on top of another, the core technique of artifice. And Mary Poppins did things that have almost been lost to time, showcasing motion blur, very difficult to replicate with a blue screen or a green screen, a veil, almost impossible, salt, multiple colors, smoke, all done at the touch of one single button. This broke every rule of modern chroma keying and depended on the sodium vapor technology invented by Ub Iwerks, the man who designed the Disney signature, who animated and perfected Mickey Mouse, the man behind the Disney image. And the problem with the Disney process was that it depended on one magic prism, and the Disney studio was never able to replicate that, and that magic prism has now been lost. This was the philosopher's stone of movie making. This was Gaiji's magic ring. This was the elusive alien technology, and for one brief, shining moment in the 1960s and 1970s, it worked like a dream. And today, we have continued to invent and refine the effect, but only by reinventing the wheel, and nothing except possibly the volume used in Those Who Are About to Die and The Mandalorian, for instance, has never been quite as good as the original sodium vapor process. But be in no doubt, we have not chosen to leave the matrix. We are further embedded into it. This was laid down by Alexander Pope way back in the 18th century, or even by the Delphic Oracle and the Bacchanalian revels in the 4th century BC. It's about deception or control with rhythm. This is not an admission into a better universe, a cleaner world. This is manipulation by master entertainers, and we are teased with philosophical tidbits to make us feel clever. Nothing more than that. Come back for more of my philosophical ramblings, and I really am genuinely fascinated by the films of particularly the 1960s and 1970s, and particularly in awe of the greatness that is Mary Poppins. Now come back and do a much longer piece about Mary Poppins and about what it is yielded and given to filmmaking and to storytelling as we've moved into the 21st century. So do come back, do follow my channel, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon.